Hey everyone, it's Julie and thank you so much for joining me. Happy New Year. I know it's been a while since I've last posted on my channel. I have participated in a couple lives on other people's channels, but December was really something. So I feel a little rusty coming on here and doing my own video, but I thought it would be fun to take part in Ethany's 31 Days of Tarot Challenge. I will leave the link to her prompts in the description box below. I believe this is her, fifth or sixth year doing this challenge. And I have decided that what I'm going to do is answer only a select number of prompts, because I feel like several of these questions I have addressed more than once in previous videos. And so the ones I've selected here are just the ones that I feel like answering. So I definitely feel very rusty at doing this. So we'll see how this goes. But we're going to start off with prompt number 7. Most worked with tarot deck in 2020 and why? Well, aside from my own deck that I made for myself, which obviously I would use a deck that I created for my personal use a lot, right? Aside from that deck, the two that stand out to me, and I don't write these things down, like I don't have a schedule of what decks I work with when, and I feel like maybe this year I should start doing that just to see. But so one of the decks that stands out to me that I feel like I worked with a lot in 2020 is Tarot of a Moon Garden. And I went ahead and modified this. And I think that is part of the reason why I worked with this a lot, because after modifying it into this really fun shape, it is just a lot more fun to work with. I mean, I really, really like the shape of this. And it's just, to me, a beautiful deck. I love the theme. I love the colors. I love the energy of it. I love that it's pippish. So that is Tarot of a Moon Garden. And then the other deck that I worked with a lot is the Darkwood Tarot. And I think the reason that I worked with this a lot is because some of you might already know I have been on the hunt for a deck like this that is kind of vampire themed, has that kind of fantasy feel to it. And I am a longtime admirer of Abigail Larson's art, and she's the one that did the art for this deck. And so I just really enjoyed working with this deck. Not only did I enjoy the art, but I enjoyed the guidebook that Sasha Graham wrote. Felt very, it was like you're reading a story. You're immersed in the narrative, right, of this witch that is entering the wood. And, this deck is basically what I was hoping Tarot of the Vampires by Ian McDaniels, I think is his name, Ian McDaniels. This is what I was hoping that deck would be. I was not able to connect with that deck, but this deck is a different story. I really, really enjoy this one. Number 8, top 5 decks on your wish list now. I don't really have a wish list. I think that really the only deck, and I wouldn't even call this one that I have on the wish list. It's just going to be like, oh, it's ready to purchase. I'm going to purchase it. And that is the 3rd edition of Benna Bellwin's Spirit Keepers Tarot. And I don't even know if that's going to be the name that she goes with, but I am super pumped to get that deck. It looks gorgeous. And that's really it. This year, I really want to dedicate the time to working with the decks that I have. So number 10, if you could design a 79th card that everyone would use, what would it look like? What would it represent? I actually did that. So once again, with my DIY, I decided to make a 79th card. And it was really my version of the Happy Squirrel card because I don't own any other decks with a Happy Squirrel card, and I wanted a Happy Squirrel card. But then it kind of morphed into something else. So basically, this is my version of the Happy Squirrel card, which is Baby Yoda. And actually, I made two versions because I couldn't decide which I liked. I like them both, so it's my deck. I can do what I want. And yeah, so this is original art from someone that I purchased the art, and then I went ahead and took the elements and set up the design myself. So I think everyone could use Baby Yoda in their lives. I don't care who you are. I mean, enough said. Number 11. And actually, I could probably combine number 12 with number 11. So tarot decks you want to work with more in 2021. And then number 12 is Oracle decks you want to work with more in 2021. And this might be a lame answer, but my answer is all of them. I don't have a huge deck library, so feasibly, I can work with all my decks. And I plan to work with all my decks. But just to show you something, one deck that I just received a couple days ago that is completely new to me, so this is one that I definitely want to work with, is the Golden Girls Tarot. And this was a lovely surprise gift from the lovely Jason from Readings with Jason. I will provide a link to his channel. Do go check him out. But he is a huge Golden Girls fan. And I remember watching this show all the time when I was younger as well. I loved it. Sophia was my favorite, and then followed by Rose. So it just, I can't wait to work with this. It looks like it's going to be fun, and I could use some fun. So thank you to Jason. It really means a lot. Love it, love it. Number 14. What is your go-to tarot book and why? I could not decide between the two. So I'm just going to show you the two. And one is, no surprise, Holistic Tarot by Annabelle Lynn. I mean, if you can't find the answer in here, then good luck to you, because this is pretty damn comprehensive. And then the other book that I refer to is Going Beyond the Little White Book by Liz Worth. And I did do a book review on this. I will try to remember to link it, but I feel like this is such an underrated book. This has more of a contemporary take in terms of being a beginner's guide, but it's beginners or those that are more practiced in tarot. I think this applies to anyone. Anyone can gain some great knowledge from this book, and you can see I highlighted the hell out of this book. So good. Number 15. What was your best, worst, memorable tarot moment of 2020? For example, a message that shocked you to get or give, a deck that surprised you, or even a reading that stuck with you. The first thing that came to mind for me, in answer to this prompt, is creating my own decks. And I don't think I talk about them too much. I don't really show them a lot because I don't know, sometimes I feel like a douche lord doing that. But if I'm being honest, that really was the most memorable moment or moments for me, because last year we all struggled for one reason or another. And for me, creating my own decks was a way to escape. It was a way to save my sanity. It was a way to have fun. And it was a way to be involved in a subject that I love so much. And so, again, here is my tarot deck, The Inspired Soul. And this one I had started actually in at the end of 2019. So with 2020 being predominantly in lockdown mode, it gave me plenty of time to focus on this deck. And so I was able to finish it, and I'm really happy with it. I love it. It's very personal to me, and it makes me happy. So there's that. And then the other deck that I created, which was this one was more spontaneous. I wasn't really thinking that I would create this deck, but one day I decided I wanted a Halloween themed Lenormand, and I couldn't find anything that really suited me. I know that there are Lenormand decks out there with that kind of theme, but I was like, well, why don't I just make my own then? Because if I can't find anything that I love, just make my own. So I did. And so here is what I have named this Spoopy Lenormand. And again, just a lot of fun to do, a lot of fun to find images. So for all my decks, I purchase images for use, or I find public domain images, and then I combine the elements in the design that I want. So this was a good time, and I like the way that it turned out. And now I don't need to hunt for a Halloween type deck because I already have my Halloween Lenny. 25. Thoughts on tarot becoming mainstream. I don't have any problems with it. I think that tarot is a wonderful tool, and the more people who can benefit from it, who can gain comfort or insight or knowledge, who can grow from it, the more the better. Do I feel like tarot is going to become so trendy that it becomes ubiquitous and then therefore spoiled for us in some way, or becomes just a vapid trend for people to jump on? Not really, because I think that people who are going to jump on a trend, just because they see tarot in a movie or in a BuzzFeed article or whatever, I think that they soon find that to really learn tarot, it does take a lot of time, devotion, and dedication. So you're only going to put that time into learning if it's something that you're truly called to connect with, and it's something that you truly, truly love. And so, just my opinion, I feel like the people who are just kind of jumping on the trend for the novelty of it, I think that would wear off very quickly once they find out how much work and time and love goes into the practice of tarot. So I just really, I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned that tarot going mainstream is going to make it less special or less appealing. No. Number 28, how do you feel about tarot deck modification? Do you draw on your decks, trim the borders, or is it a no-go for you? Well, I think those of you who follow me know the answer to this question. I am all for deck mods. I think it's a great way to bond with the deck. I think it's a great way to make a deck work for you when it otherwise would not in its original form. And so yes, I have chopped off borders and titles if they're ugly or stupid or don't make sense to me, if they don't resonate, but I still love the imagery. I have, so for instance, the Tarot of the Moon Garden, you saw what I did there. I have even for this deck, Tarot of a Moon Garden, so I've even colored on decks. And so this is by Stephanie Caponi. Moon Void Tarot. Did I say that? Moon Void Tarot. And this I did color in. It's predominantly black and white with some splashes of red, but I did add color to a good majority of the deck. And, so it's a case-by-case thing. It's like a judgment call and it's subjective. But for this particular mod, Before posting pictures of this deck, or the spread with which I used this deck, I did DM Stephanie Caponi to say, hey, I love your deck. I love your deck so much. And I was actually so inspired by it that I colored a lot of the images. I added color to it. And so, my account is all about tarot. And so I understand if you don't want me to post pictures of your deck being modified like this. I don't want to disrespect you because I know it is a huge change. It's not just chopping off the borders. I have literally altered the image in a very noticeable way. But she was so cool about it. She's like, oh my gosh, first of all, thank you for asking. And secondly, that's so cool. Go ahead. I have no problems. You can post it. And so she's very, very cool about it. So yeah, I don't have a problem with deck modification at all. I know some people think it's disrespectful or, I don't, you're not defacing an original piece of art. I mean, these are copies, right? And I feel as though once a person spends the money on a deck and it's theirs, it's theirs. It's theirs to do whatever the hell they want to with it. And then the last question I'm going to answer is prompt 31. Share a tarot deck that you have to break up with. I don't have the deck anymore because I already broke up with it. As a matter of fact, just yesterday I broke up with it. And it is being shipped off to its new lover. And that tarot deck is the traditional manga tarot. I have been wanting like an anime / manga style deck that had a particular aesthetic to it, and this hit the spot in that sense. The only hang up for me, which I thought I could get over, and I tried to trick myself into thinking, no, it's fine, whatever, it's totally fine. But it was just the very kind of warm tones used in the art. It just made it very hard for me to make out the details of the images. And so I wish that the art had more cooler color tones to it. Alas, it was not meant to be. That's okay. So if you've stuck with me for this long, thank you so much. I am behind on YouTube watching. You can just always assume that I am behind on my TarotTube watching. You can just make that assumption because it would be correct. But I look forward to catching up on people's responses to 31 Days of Tarot and all the other awesome videos that you guys have posted. I hope you are doing well. And until the next video, much love and take care.